Okay, good afternoon, everybody. In this noon slot of our presentation, this is the final day, last day. Our journey of 5 days is coming to an end. Our first season of presentations is coming to an end. This was a very unique experience. I don't think that we are going to have similar unique experiences next semester. Perhaps next semester we will be sitting in a classroom and we will be giving presentations rather than this online mode. So Corona has given us a very interesting opportunity to try out several things, and we are on the final day of all the problems about network and other things. Still, we are able to see that things can run if we wish. Then there is always a way that we can find it out. So on this final day, which started on 6th and 10th. Today is the final day. Today's presentations are about history of the English literature. And in this slot, these students are going to make presentations. Khushbu, Kishan, Latta, Nandita, Nidhi, Niyati, Riddhi, Sneha, and Stuti. These students are going to make presentations in this slot. And the topics of your presentations are pertaining to uh, history of English literature from Chaucer's age to Victorian times. And in the second semester, you are going to study 20th century literature. So in this slot, we will have Khushbu speaking on uh, general literary characteristics of all ages, Kishan on introduction of the revival of learning age, Lata on comparison between romantics and the Victorians, Nandita on Victorian literature as the queen of literature. Well, good topic is been given here. Nidhi on clowns and fools. That also is interesting. Shakespeare's work. Niyati on literary characteristics of Restoration age. Riddhi on how John Ruskin's Unto This Last inspired Mahatma Gandhi. Well, good topic. Sneha on Abraham Cowley's metaphysical as a metaphysical poet, and Stuti is going to speak on characteristics of neoclassical literature. From the morning slot, Bhargavi was not able to make presentation in the morning, so she is going to make presentation here, and she is going to speak on Victorian novels. Okay? Bhargavi, your turn will be the last one after this all are presenting. At that time, your turn will be there. Okay? Uh, Today we are going to also see that how is your Google Classroom performance. In during the entire semester, we have given you several thinking activities, online tests, as our format is of teaching format is like at the end of all the units, we give some task to students to think about it, points to ponder, and write a blog and submit their work in Google Classroom. And along with that, one online test based on that unit also is given to students, and you have performed throughout the semester. So today we are also going to evaluate how many of you were sincerely appearing in all the tasks and completing the work, and how many of you were a little bit lethargic in your work, so that we can come to know that in second semester how we have to work. Those who are able not doing work, they have to be very sincere, and those who are doing the work, they have to improve the quality of their work. Okay, so that also will keep on analyzing at the end of your presentations. We will not have a time for live questions, so we will ask everybody to put your questions in chat, and you have to answer in chat. Your question that is asked to you shall be answered in chat. Okay, so our first presenter for this last day is Khushbu. Yes, Khushbu, you can start your presentation.
Okay, so my today's topic is general characteristics, literary characteristics of all ages. Next, okay, so here the first is the age of Chaucer, and it is the standardizing of English, curious modern note, and Scottish literature. Here I have kept a photo of Chaucer. writer of the main writer of this age, and in this age we find that French and English two languages came to a mixture to form a standard English, and the foundation of English prose style became from this age. Then for the first time, Scotland supplies a writer that is worthier. Next. Okay, the next is from Chaucer to Spenser. And here there was a very thin material. Quality of material means the quality and the quantity both were very less in this age. No poets were there, and prose was also very thin. Then here the development of drama took place, and so if it were not Scottish poets, then age would be without any poems. Then professional actor and playwrights also came, so it became the age of drama also, means development of drama took place from here. Then so it was a season of germination, we can say, literary impulse slowly awakening and waiting for the right moment. So next. Yes, Elizabethan age, which is of course very flowering age, we can say. It was very fruitful age under the guidance of Queen Elizabeth, and here we can find that the main writer of the age was Shakespeare, of course. Religious toleration was there, social contentment was there, enthusiasm was there, and drama flourished maximum in this age, we can say. So the religious toleration, because Elizabeth favored both the parties, Protestant and Catholics both. So for the first time, the question of religious toleration was solved, and here there was freedom of mind was there. So there was a great literary stimulus. Literature developed very much in this age. Then so there was increase in wealth, improvement in living opportunities for labor, and new social content. So almost all the classes of society were quite satisfied with this age. Then of course dreams and deeds increase side by side, and dream is ever greater than the deed. So that is the meaning of literature, and it was fulfilled in this age. Next. Yes, this is the Puritan age, and it is also known as the age of Milton, and I have kept the photo of the Milton, the greatest writer. It was the reaction, pressure of so historical events. Milton was the main writer. Metaphysical poets also came in this age. Cavalier poets, it was the expansion of prose and the collapse of drama, of course. And yes, we can. I would like to quote one line here, that a great river is not judged by the foam on its surface, and certain austere laws and doctrines which we have ridiculed are but froth on the surface of the mighty Puritan current that has flowed steadily like a river of life through English and American history since the age of Elizabeth. So in this age there was austere standard of living. People were imposed unnatural restrictions in their lives. So of course all people were not happy. Even cinemas and theaters were banned in this age. So there was no kind of entertainment in this age. And so the unnatural restrictions were forced on people in this age. So of course in this age we cannot expect a good literature. Next. Okay, so here the period of restoration, and the main writer is Dryden, of course. Then here begins the French influence, sudden breaking away of all old standards. Dryden was the greatest writer, and he said that he was drawing the outlines of prose and poetry, and he had no teacher to instinct him. So there were no teachers. He themselves had to frame the outlines of poem and the poetry, prose and poetry both. So it was two marked tendencies of their own: realism and preciseness, elegance of expression which marks out. Then from this we get some formalism for the prose and poetry both, and heroic couplet was also followed by Dryden himself, and this rules and laws which were adopted by Dryden and many writers of this age were accepted for the next 100 years. Next. Yes, this is 18th century age of the Pope, we can say. It was in this age prose developed maximum to its peak, and then it is also known as satire also took its maximum development in this age, and for the first time in this age prose was at its peak, we can say. Rapidity and excellence and development of the literature and the prose itself. It was the graceful elegance of Edison's essays, the tours of vigor of Swift's satires, artistic finish of Fielding's novels. In this age, the publishing houses were there, so books were published in this age, clubs and coffee houses, so people can go there and read various magazines and newspapers. Periodical writing also started in this age. It is often called the age of Queen, but Queen had no particular influence in the literature. Then we can say the Pope, Swift, and Edison were the best satirists of this age. Yes, this is the age of transition, and these are the main points: double tendency, and it was a return to nature and not to bookish artificial knowledge. And in this age, political writing was also quite decreased. Even the great political writers were now no longer writing on political topics. It was enlightenment of sympathy for the poor and oppressed people. Spirit of new thinking was seen in the works of Voltaire. So here the new philosophy was seen in the works of Voltaire. Next. Age of romanticism. This is particularly the age of poetry. In this age, women got the education, and so they were able to write. And we know that if women are given any opportunity, they are of course going to flourish. So here, women nowadays came into age. They were given education, so they flourished like the best stars. They did their best in the novels. Then here, Southey's prose was much more better. He was best in writing the prose. But as it was the age of poetry, so he was forced to write the verse in verse form in order to earn money. Then, and here that we can see that man's feelings and thoughts and all that without any kind of changes or any artificiality, they were allowed to free to follow their own fancy in their own way in the literature itself. Next. Yes, Victorian age. Here, Alfred Tennyson was the main writer of this age. It was the age of prose, moral purpose. So we can say that it was the age of newspaper, magazine, and the modern novel. Novel was the successful method of presenting modern problems and the modern ideal, and also the pleasantest form of literary entertainment. So novel was also at its peak, and we can also say that some writers were like teachers in this age. Tennyson, Browning, Khaled, Ruskin were like teachers of England. They had super faith in their message. So it was not, this age was not for art of art's sake. This was the age for moral purpose, that people should follow some moral values. So in this intellectual development was there, new education came, many reforms came in the society and all. So this was quite good achievement in this age. And even international influences were also there in this age. Next. Yes, and this is the birth of modern literature. This education was very highly spread in this age. Enormous output. Many books were written in this age. It was literature of social purpose. And here also we can find the dominance of novel was there. And Thomas Gray and Robert Burns, they were the great poets of this, writers of this age. And various experiments were taking even in the literary forms also. So, next. Yes, here we have the portrait of Virginia Woolf. In this age, she wrote even the many good books like Mrs. Mrs. Dalloway and To the Lighthouse, and these were her works. And there was a good influence of radio and cinema. So in this age, we can find that also. The speed of life came as again cinema and radio was invented and came. So the life was at its very high speed. And then values were also a little breaking down in this age, but we can find that very good writers were there, like Virginia Woolf also. Next. Yes, in this 20th century, we find that modernism and postmodernism fragmented structure, and it was modernism means it was utopian and ideal world, but in postmodernism, it is totally opposite of that. people skeptical, they're doubting everything. It was like they doubted everything. Modernism is like people only followed the rules for everyone. It was common for everyone. It was ideal and utopian kind of world. But postmodernism doubted everything, each and everything. That they believe that every individual should have different truth, different rules, and not common for all. So they doubted everything. It was a skeptical type of thing, we can say. So modernism was totally, these both are opposite terms. And then next, yes, in this also we can find that Catherine Mansfield was author of this age and a lady author. And this is her very quote in letter she has written, that I choose not only the length of every sentence but even the sound. After I had written I read it aloud number of times, just as one would play over a musical composition. If a thing has really come up, it seems to me there must not be a single word out of place. So in this quotation, Catherine Mansfield shows her exactness, perfection in her work of art. Then next. These are my citations.
Okay, good. You can stop sharing the screen. Yes, and good. You worked well on citations today. Alphabetically arrangements and other things are given. One more step remains, and that is properly coordinating all the sources in your slides. I think in the next semester we will have a workshop, and then you will get an idea about that. Okay, so let me share the screen about the Google Classroom performance. By and large, you have done good in Google Classroom. 85% you have got in Google Classroom. Still, the work is ongoing, and that is very good. The class average is around 69%. The entire class average is 69. So, if you are above 69, means above 70, you have done good work. You can say you have done good above 70. If above 80 and near 90, excellent. You can consider if you are above almost 88 or 90 or 90 plus, then excellent work you have done. But 60 and more is considered very good. Below 69 is very poor. Below 69% if you have, then you need to work very hard in next semester. But this was good. Khushbu's performance is good, and she has done all the work also regularly in due time. All the works are also submitted. Even in the presentations also, you work very hard in all the presentations, and they were reasonably well presented, very well presented also. Okay, so keep going the same way in semester 2 and subsequent semesters also. Okay, so the questions shall be asked in the chat, and the next presenter is Kishan.
Hello, I am audible.
Yes, you are audible.